Neighbouring Libya is also struggling to calm down the post-Arab Spring turmoil. The US is urging all of its citizens to leave the country, where CIA-linked rogue general has launched an uprising against the elected government. OT's Marina Portnaya has the story.
The United States, together with the international community, is committed to the Libyan people. You have won your revolution.
3 years after the so-called liberation of Libya, moving towards Libya's coast, a warship carrying some 1,000 Marines and several helicopters ready to evacuate U.S. diplomatic missions on a moment's notice.
That was a step that was taken to be prepared to protect U.S. personnel and facilities in U.S. installations in North Africa.
The country, gravely destabilized, allowed militants to expand exponentially as the nation's military and police forces remained weak.
NATO member states are good at destroying nations, but never good at making good democracies.
However, concern over the chaos has spiked after dissident General Khakifa Haftar launched assaults against the Libyan parliament and Islamic factions.
Some of the worst violence that country has seen since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi.
An Islamic militant group based in Benghazi has accused Washington of backing dissidents and fueling unrest. While Western forces sold their 2011 bombing campaign as a humanitarian mission, some critics say instability was the end goal.
Peaceful, states that work and are reasonably functional are actually not in U.S. interest at this point in time. The main point is to break up the legitimacy of any kind of nation state that can have any kind of claim on its own resources.
Worst of all, the past 3 years have shown very few of the democratic reforms that were promised when Western forces celebrated Libya's liberation. Marina Portnaya, RT.
Let's now look at the military leader behind the new wave of violence there in Libya. So here he is, General Khakifa Haftar, once a close ally of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. But not for long. He then defected to the United States with the CIA's help. For 2 decades, General Haftar reportedly lived within walking distance of the CIA's main headquarters. It's thought he received training there and became a US citizen. He returned to his homeland at the time of the uprising against his old friend, and in February this year he already tried to carry out a coup against the new government, but failed. This month saw a new attempt, but now he's supported by air power, armoured units and a public relations campaign. And the instability in Libya is also affecting the country's oil markets as anti-government forces are blocking access to vital ports. That's as the so-called New Libya Oil and Gas Forum opens in London, where businessmen are set to discuss the future of the country's energy economics. RT's Sara Firth was there.
Well, even as rebels in the country have closed down a recently reopened oil port here in London, and the 2014 New Libya Oil and Gas Forum has got underway with big businesses discussing investment opportunities. All sound a little strange? Well, we caught up earlier with the VP of Shell in the Middle East and North Africa to find out why, at a time when the country is so unstable still, big business see investment. A lot of people will say, it's a country still struggling to find its feet with democracy. Does flooding the country once again with petrodollars aid that cause, or does it hinder it, do you think?
Well, my personal experience with Libya has been for many, many years, and it's definitely to go forward. There is a very important to have a partnership between major oil players with technologies, human resources, and capital.
So this is about the payoff at the end of the day for the big companies. Despite the unstable situation, there's still money to be made there, and that's kind of what plays a part.
Well, as I said, it's important for Libya oil to prosper, oil and gas actually, to prosper. It's important to bring capital, but most importantly, really technologies and know-how. And without creating enabling investment environment, that would be really difficult.